Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only, and for those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. So through this channel I would like to bring you some stock analysis and a short 5-minute trading lesson at the end, so please stay tuned. Okay, a quick recap on previous day's trading, which we know was a very bad day overall with almost all stocks down. We saw that the Bitcoin stocks were down, Mara was down, Riot was down. We saw that ABML was quite significantly down. AQMS, which did well on the previous day, was down. Ticker symbol BNGO was also down significantly, and I think Bloom Energy was down. So all these stocks are now at good bargain prices for those of you who are ready to invest. So lots of cheap stocks, that's the advantage. The disadvantage is the recovery of the Wednesday did not continue. So overall that was disappointing. And what was the reason for this? So first of all, there was a big bond sell-off in the market. So that was reason number one. And the reason why there was a big bond sell-off in the market, there was worries about inflation. So for those of you who do not know what inflation is a general increase in the price level. This is measured by, in the UK, it's measured by the retail price index, and it's also measured by the CPI, which is a consumer price index. The reason why everybody does not like, is certainly in the markets, do not like inflation, is inflation means when prices go up, the value of money goes down. So it means you're getting less for your money. So overall, it's a very, very bad thing for business. It's a very, very bad thing for investment because your money does not go as far. So nobody likes inflation. Inflation is bad for business. So the bondholders were very worried about inflation. So what generally happens is when there is a sell-off, they like to kind of divert the money in stocks and areas where they believe inflation is not going to have as much of an effect. So traditionally, this has been to divert money into things like gold, which is always seen as kind of, more secure, more safe in terms of the long term. So stocks and shares, that's why we know they are risky, because they're much, much more volatile. However, the rewards are also tremendous, as we know. I think another reason why the stocks and shares were significantly down is obviously we know that there is a perception that clean energy is being overvalued. EV has been overvalued. I'm not sure if that is true, because I think obviously EV and clean energy is the future. There is going to be tremendous growth in these stocks, and by holding these stocks, I think the gains should return. So I'm fairly confident of that. It is just a matter of time, and a lot of these stocks are making tremendous movements in the market. And the third aspect, which I think is causing this chaos at the moment in the market, is the GME saga. So what that is also leading to, it's leading to a lot of sell-off in the market. So people are selling the traditional shares in stocks like NEO, XPeng, Lee, even Tesla, to try and make, let's call it quick money in the GME. So when you have big sell-offs in a lot of the traditional shares, that's going to create lots of movement down in the market when you have an overall sell-off. So not good overall, but fingers crossed, moving on, I do expect a little bit of a recovery now. And so there was one stock that did very well, but it should have done much, much better. So that's the stock I'm going to look at now. Okay, so the stock I'm going to look at now, which had some breaking news yesterday, so I'm going to share that breaking news with you shortly as well. So that is a stock that I have brought to you before, and we have made some tremendous gains in this before. However, the stock generally since then has followed the general market trend of general movements downwards. However, long term, this is still an excellent play. I'm going to share you some of the details of this stock and also the breaking news. But let's see what happened yesterday. So first of all, the stock ticker symbol ATOS closed just over 4% up on the day at $2.91. So this was kind of a movement away from the market. So I believe if the overall market was on a green day, I think this would have probably closed well in excess of $3.20. At one point, it was in excess of 20% up, but generally, when you have a whole market down, it's very difficult for an individual stock, even such as Attosa Therapeutics, which had positive news, to continue to make exceptionally good gains. It did end up in the green. It was up just in excess of 4%. and that was on the back of some good breaking news. So before we look at that breaking news, I'm just going to remind you about what this business is about. Okay, so as investors, just a quick recap, the two areas that as investors we are really, really interested in when it comes to ticker symbol ATOS, Attosa Therapeutics, is they have two key programs that are going to give potential for excellent returns going forward long term. First of all, they have a COVID-19 program. One of the programs that they have is obviously called the COVID-19 Hope Program, which is going to use severely ill patients to improve their lung functions and reduce the time they spend on ventilators. So very, very positive there. But this is the one that kind of attracted my attention initially, and that was the development of something called a nasal spray for use at home immediately following the diagnosis of COVID-19 to reduce the symptoms of it and also slow the infection rate so a person's immune system is much more effective to fight the virus. So that was aspect number one. The other aspect is their work on breast cancer. So obviously they're developing drugs and treatments for preventing breast cancer and obviously looking at treating that effectively. So we also had some good breaking news on the best breast cancer program, which we're going to share now with you in the next slide. Okay, so this is a quick look at their programs, which are looking at developing treatments, which obviously they're looking at treatments which are going to be effective and also affordable. So the good thing about them being affordable, this increases your market share, enables you to sell much worldwide, including developing countries where the affordability is very, very important, especially for treatments such as COVID-19. So they have the COVID spray, which is at phase one, where they have the COVID at Hope program, which is also currently at phase one. And we've also seen that they have the breast cancer oral treatments in terms of pre-surgery, that's at phase two. So we had some good breaking news there. So if you look at this overview of the programs that we're interested in here, we can see that after phase three, once we have the approval for phase three, then it goes to what is called commercial availability. So when we have commercial availability is then that generates revenue, that generates income, it leads to profit. And from an investor's and stock trader's point of view, it also leads to a significant spike in the share price, which we are hoping will happen in the medium to long term with this stock. And it's also a stock that I'm quite bullish on going forward. So let's now have a look at the breaking news. Okay, so this is the breaking news dated February the 25th, 2021, and it's from Yahoo Finance. So let's have a look at the headline. Attosa Therapeutics announces final results from phase one clinical study showing safety and tolerability of the nasal spray being developed for COVID-19. So very, very positive headline. And what we can see here that obviously they also, as we know, focusing on working with breast cancer. So there is another angle to this business as well. So this nasal spray that they are developing, the phase one results have shown that this product is safe, it's well tolerated in healthy males and female participants at two different dose levels. So and this was over 14 days. So let's continue with the article. The final analysis of the data shows that there were no serious adverse effects, no discontinuations, no bronchospasms, and one subject of the 32 subjects in the study experienced adverse effects that were considered moderate. And so overall, fantastic results for their phase one study. We can see that obviously the conclusion here is that nasal spray was safe, it was well tolerated in the study, and it can now go to the phase two. So that's the positive news that we have, because once it goes to phase two, we just have one more phase left. So let's just finish off with the article now. Okay, final part of the article, we can see here that Attosa believes that the nasal spray is going to play an important role alongside traditional vaccines. And obviously it is clear that COVID is here to stay long term. People will probably be required to take an annual vaccine to keep it in check. We know that obviously COVID is a worldwide issue. So in terms of this product working alongside the vaccines is going to be very, very successful in terms of combating the future pandemic not happening again. So we can see that no vaccine is 100% safe. So let's have a look at this product. So obviously it was phase one involved 32 healthy adults. These were divided into two groups. A is taking the actual nasal spray and B is taking the placebo. So obviously we can see that the primary objective is to focus on safety, tolerability and the effectiveness of the dose. So the conclusion was it is effective, it is successful, and it is now ready to move on to phase two. So good news for us as investors, good news for the business going forward. Unfortunately, due to the market conditions as we've just seen, we did not expect to see the growth that I would have expected from this news, but going forward, it makes the business much more healthy, more strong, and a good long-term play to continue in this. So let's have a look at the chart for Attosa now. Look at the chart here. We can see this is the 3-month chart for ticker symbol ATOS. So prior to the start of 2021, the stock was trading just around about $1. We saw some significant movement up, which kind of started from the 7th of January all the way up to the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of January, where the stock gained significant momentum, closing just close to $3. So that was the first positive signs. There was a little bit of consolidation there, and then we saw the stock moving up again early February, closing just above $4.37. So that was around about the peak. So we have had consolidation downwards since then, and right now we've had the first positive news again for this stock. So I am expecting a little bit more consolidation and general trend back up. If we look at the moving average purple line there, it is showing a favorable movement upwards in terms of the overall trend. So good news overall. Long term with this stock, there is going to be volatility because it's still a penny stock. However, I'm confident that this stock is a good solid investment for the long term. So let's have a look at a strike price. Okay, so due to the continued market volatility, it's very difficult to predict what will happen going forward in terms of the general market. However, long term, I am confident that this stock will continue to do well in terms of a strike price for anyone looking to invest right now. So it closed at $2.91. If there is significant volatility in this stock, I think it could go down to $2.70. So if you can see this stock coming down below $2.70, that would be a good first entry point. And again, if you could split your investments into 3 parts, so don't put all of your money in straight away because that carries a bigger risk. So if there is again significant movement down from $2.70 to $2.50, again, you can put your second investment in to average down. And similar again, if there is movement up, you'll benefit from the profit. And then once there is another significant dip, you can put your third investment into ticker symbol ATOS. So once there is positive news for phase two, phase three, I think this stock is certainly long term going to be minimum 5x. Okay, so now it's going to be time for lesson of the day. Okay, so today's lesson of the day is looking at how to carry out company research. Unfortunately, it's not good practice just to use a single source. Best practice is to use multiple sources of information. So this can include multiple websites, it can include multiple news research articles, and it can also use a variety of social media. So I'm going to get you started on this by sharing a good website as a starting point. So this website is something that you can put in your favorites. So let's have a look at what the website is. It's docoh.com. So docoh.com. So I'm going to share you a small preview of this website now. So let's just have a look at this website. So it's docoh.com. So we can see we have a dashboard here. So the website is there, and there in the search bar you can type in your company. So we're going to just type in here ATOS Attosa Therapeutics. So we'll use that as an example. Now we have the company profile. So we can read at the top there in terms of a little bit of a summary of what the business is about. So that's a useful starting point there. Then we have the company profile in terms of the website, the employees, the fiscal year, the location, the industry that they're in. Then on the right hand side we have the stock data information in terms of the day, the open price, the close price. We can also see the the market cap. We can see the average volume. So very, very important information for us as investors that we need to know. The 52-week range. So going down, this is also very good that I like to look at, and that is current news. So we can see here on this website, the current news is available some 7 hours ago, 9 hours ago. We've got the press releases. Moving down, we have the investment data, we have the calendar. In terms of earnings, so it's always a good idea to see what earnings. So it's also, we can see it's 11th of May. Moving down, we have the financial summary here. Again, we have the obviously revenue. This business is not generating revenue because they haven't completed phase 3. Then obviously we can see in terms of assets and liabilities how much cash they have at hand. So that's important in terms of can they continue trading. So that's good news for this business. We can also look at insider trades. We can look at institutional ownership, which is also a positive sign. So that is updated on the fourth quarter of 2020. So we've got the institutional ownerships there. We've got the largest transactions in terms of buying and selling. There on the right, on the left, we've got the largest owners, which also includes Barclays. We can see we have the summary of the financial report there. Then if you want to go into more detailed information, you've got the quarterly reports that you can read through. You have the registration and prospective. You have other information. You have ownership of the shares, and then at the bottom we can see something positive as investors is patents. How are they on patents? And another thing that a lot of people like to look at is Reddit threats. So that's very good with this website. It gives you the direct link for the Reddit threads as well. So overall, an excellent website to get you started with your company research. So I hope that helps. Thank you very much for joining me, and please stay tuned.